Bull bars are quite expensive, but what happens if you damage them? Consider the following. So now that you've all clicked away, here's what's happening today. Bull bar stuff. Now I went on a miniature adventure with small cars, resulting in driving up steps that look much bigger in real life than they do on camera, and my car's Glenn Quagmire chin having an intimate relationship with the floor. And the result of this is that I've concluded that plastic bumpers are a little bit fragile. I know, controversial thoughts. So I've decided to make it again. In metal, and smaller this time. Because right now it's got a bit of an underbite. So as usual with anything automotive related, step two is remove the bits that you want to do something about. So allow me to welcome you to this episode, consisting of how to make a steel bull bar that anyone can make at home with no special tools. And the first thing you can all do is fire up your CNC plasma cutter, because for some reason it just accumulates things over time. Now today's episode is brought to you by the letter M, because I'm going to be designing a modular bull bar. Why modular? Well, when it inevitably smashes into the floor at velocity, I don't want to have to make an entirely new one just for the sake of one little incident. Case in point, this pile of scrap from a Nissan Patrol. And in fact, every other bull bar I've ever seen. Which brings me on to this one. I'm going to divide this bull bar into 3 sections. The first section will be some corner stuff. One on each side, they're pretty much exactly the same. And then the middle will be where it gets a little bit different. Now because I don't have a winch at the moment, I can just make a plain plate that goes over. Say it, don't spray it, by the way. But later down the line when I do want a winch, I'll be able to just remanufacture this middle section and unbolt it and bolt in the new one. Modular. Which leads me on to how I'm going to mount this bull bar. The only thing that sort of jumps out at me is this crossmember bit here. Ignore this slight bend in it. That wasn't me. This car's 30 years old and probably has a very questionable history. Using the joys of CAD, I'm able to make a weird little bracket that I can bend into place and mount permanently to the car, which I can then use as a datum and measure everything from it. Now bull bars kind of work in a 3D plane. If you're recovering anything, you're pulling straight forwards, theoretically. If you've got a side load, you're pulling to the side, and then any misalignment results in an up and down movement. So basically you have to reinforce this thing from all sides. And this is the thing that was holding the bumper on in the first place. About 1.5mm steel, it's flexing. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but in their defense, the bumper's made of plastic. And this means I can't use these mounts. I have to make my own, stronger, and able to take loads in all directions. So here's what I've concocted in CAD. With the aid of a couple of tactically placed U-bolts, I'm going to be able to attach this to that cross member and mitigate the forwards and backwards forces. Now in order to do the other ones, I'm going to have to basically through bolt them. Me again, I'm going to have to do this in 2 ways. One is stabilize them by having them wrap around here, and secondly, through bolt them with a couple of spaces in here to stop these bits of metal squeezing together, because that's bad. Repeat that on both sides, and that'll be it basically finished. And I'm going to make these out of 5mm steel from my plethora of garbage. Oh mate, you got to use at least 10mm thick steel. To which I say, thanks for your years of gleaned experience of reading Facebook posts. The fact of the matter is, this car weighs about 900 kilos, and the forces are nothing compared to what you'd find on that thing. So I'm going to use 5mm steel. And you can add that to my never-ending list of things that work out perfectly first try. And this basically proves why making sacrificial components is one of the most necessary things in the world. Because, thanks to the chassis basically doing this on a coiled car, they haven't really gone to the effort of straightening out this end so it points straight forwards. The result is this. Coming straight out from the chassis does not actually line up with the body. So on the final bracket, I'm going to have to tweak this a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. Which leads me on to exactly how technical I'm going to get about this. All I'm going to do is stick this pole out of the front of the car, give it a bend until it's the same angle as the body. I think I've gone a fraction too far. That'll do. And if you're all above 10 and paid attention in school, this is where trigonometry comes into play. So I can measure this in 2 spots, easy to locate in drawings. 23:37. Slight redesign time. And here's the Mark II of this bracket. And as far as angles go, we're pretty good. I am trying to align that line with this line. But I'm not very good at cameras, so I'll just have to cycle between the focuses so you can get an idea. They're pretty close. Now those of you among us who have half a brain cell will understand why I'm spacing out this little bracket. This is just temporary. I can easily make another plate. Now this is where things start to get a bit more complicated. I have to take many measurements and try and get this thing to match the contours of the car as best I can. So what I'd quite like to do is have this come exactly out to the end of the wheel arch there, and then kind of angle in. And the bar is going to come down to the bottom of this bracket, which is in line with the chassis rails roughly. And that covers all the nasties, but what I'm going to do is make it so that it's pretty much flush with the grille. So I have some work to do. Now the hope is, because I'm not going to check this, once I make this sort of wing of the bull bar, I'll be able to mirror it and make it for the other side, and then the only thing left to do is this cover plate in the middle. Which means that if I've got a bracket similar to this on each side, the wings of the bull bar only need to come out to about here. And the other thing that's probably worth doing is making a secondary bracket to attach it here for a bit of extra rigidity. But that'll be a 5-minute job at the end. So this particular part isn't exactly interesting. It's just me taking a bunch of measurements. So here's how this is starting to go down. This little slot here is going to go over the top of that bracket that we just made. And this is the little wing bit. It's going to be folded pretty nicely. And I can just press a button and not do that. I can just press a button and now it's flattened. So now I can fold it, bend it, cut it, whatever I need to do, and hopefully it'll be a bull bar at the end of it. Or at least half of one. Or a third of one even. And for this part I'm loading in a bit of 2mm steel. It'll be plenty strong enough. It's the same stuff I used on the fuel tank, but it also won't be insanely heavy, because if I made it out of 5mm steel it may as well be bulletproof. This will not be bulletproof. Now even though I've spent about 2 hours designing and measuring all this stuff about 1,000 times, I'm expecting this not to fit. Usually what happens in these situations is I'll do exactly this, cut something out, it won't fit, and then I'll get it perfectly right the second time. This situation seems somewhat familiar. I wonder why. Anyway, cut, bend, stick time. And now this is in my hand, it's actually a little bit intimidating. Because in case you didn't know, I'm no fabricator. In fact, I suck at fabrication. Just look at everything else I do. So hopefully I've made up for my lack of abilities in the CAD department, which means that I can just mark on these bend lines and hope for the best, and then stick it together and see if it fits. But when comparing this to the fuel tank I made a few episodes ago, the best thing about this is the fact that it doesn't leak. So my welding is probably going to be absolutely fine for this. It's only 2mm steel, so penetration isn't an issue. Anyway, enough talking. Now I didn't really bother videoing myself marking up these bend lines because it would be pretty boring to be honest. And I wanted to focus on doing it rather than making mistakes and regretting it later. So now that they're all marked out, I can score them and bend them. Now I'm not sure about you, but that is starting to look like something. And that something is a bull bar. So this is the terrifying moment where I actually find out if it fits for the first time. I'm going to say I'm about 90% happy with that. That's pretty bloody good, to be honest. The only thing I'm not happy about is where it interfaces with this guard here. And what I'd like to have is a nice radius that follows down until this point, and that'll make it perfect. The other thing I'd like to do is maybe extend this outwards, maybe 30 millimeters, so it gets this surface in line with the outer surface here. And obviously once this little bracket's in place, it'll probably hold it about there, which gives me, I'd say, 5 millimeters between the body and the bar. And in terms of approach angle, I'd say we're getting pretty much Unimog territory when it comes to the approach angle. I'd say you can't really get much better than that, if I'm honest. So, day 2 of making bull bars. You can tell it's day 2 because I have different clothes on. Anyway, I've done a slight redesign, and here it is. I've pretty much just changed the design a little bit to add some contours that I'm more happy with, and redo the sheet metal experience to make it a little bit easier to make. Another thing I wasn't really happy with was the fact that this little bulge bit kind of undercuts the guard a little. So in the redesign, this is kind of flattened out to make it in line with this flare. The other thing was adding a pretty significant chamfer to these two edges here, because right now, it's basically a box. But aside from that, global dimensions haven't changed, and neither has the position of this slot, which means that on the next iteration, it should just slide in with no need for anything else. And the final concern I've got is, do I have enough material? Because if I mess up once, I don't think I've got enough. That's basically the cutout from the first iteration that I made, and I have to do that at least 2 more times, plus however big the middle bit of the bull bar is. So if I mess up once, I've got to buy a whole new sheet, and I barely use 2 mil as it is, so that would be kind of annoying. I wish I could get stainless to cut this nicely fresh off the bed, but I mean, minimal slag there. It's basically ready to go straight off the bed. Now I think that'll do it. Once it's all bolted up and in place, it'll sit around there. There's a pretty good transition between the flare and the bull bar, and that approach angle's looking pretty nice. The only really annoying bit is that I'm going to have to basically build this up with weld. I'll probably put a little patch over there, because part of the design thing, when you have all these bends in one place, it gets a bit annoying with stuff like that. But that's something for future me. So as if by magic, the rain is going to miraculously stop smashing my roof and making my sound quality worse than it always is. But then this is going to appear. I forgot I was doing a weird jump cut thing. Now I'm welding the pieces to the brackets. Enjoy. So this is either 2/3 of a bull bar or a tiny car in need of an orthodontist. I'm going to choose the former. The last bit to make is the middle bit. And that's basically a simple case of measuring the gap and making a folded panel to take up the slack. And the last piece in terms of brackets is going to solve this problem, which is still much more sturdy than the factory one. But with the help of one more bracket and a little bit of welding, I'll be able to pick up off here and get that adjustment with a little bit of reinforcement. Anyway, in all of my CAD and CNC plasma cutting wisdom, I forgot to put any mounting holes here. I'd planned to, but I just forgot. So I'm going to have to try and accurately drill several holes here, so I'll then be able to measure the distance between them and cut out a proper plate on the plasma cutter. Now, I don't know about you. In fact, I don't care about you. I'm quite impressed with that. I've never made a Bullbar before, and this has come out pretty nicely. The only places that are somewhat of a downfall are things that are because of my abilities. And the best part in all this, check out that approach angle. So as usual, I'll share some details that'll make you question why all these other companies charge so much for these things. This has cost me about $100 worth of steel, and it's taken me 2 days. In case you hadn't realized by now, all of my videos take between 1 and 2 days to make, because that's the only time I have full access to the workshop. And I can now go about my merry way, smashing up my Bullbar. Safe with the knowledge that if I smash it up, all I have to repair or replace are one of the sides. Maybe the middle if I'm unlucky. And later down the line, once I've got a winch, in order to fit it, I don't need a whole new bar. All I have to do, remove this, and redesign something that'll fit a winch later on. Smart, right? Now obviously, the last thing left to do on the list is paint it. And if you want to watch some painting happen, you can watch this video. Now I guess the last thing to consider here is the weight of this. This thing is, I'd say, about 8 to 10 kilos. And without weighing it, I'd say the weight difference is pretty negligible. They're definitely within a couple of kilos of each other. Until then, I'm quite hungry now, so I'm going to go and eat. And I bench pressed 140 kilograms the other day.
What the fuck?
Nobody cares. Bye.